says that it was quite disappointing to hear from the Labour Party candidate yesterday that as at the time he was with us, INEC hadn't yet allowed them access to the materials that the court had ordered should be made available to them.
Hi guys, it's quite unfortunate that we are living in a country where rule of law is not working. Dr. Reuben and Rufai has condemned the deliberately action of the INEC chairman Yakubu Mahmood over his incompetency about the 2023 presidential election and for not allowing Labour Party to access all the electoral equipment as the court ordered. Guys, watch this video and hear what Dr. Reuben and Rufai has to say, and don't forget to share your thought with us.
Obeying the rule of law is a constitutional matter. I quoted earlier on section 287. If you don't obey what the courts of the land say, then you are guilty of contempt. Contempt can be in two forms. Contempt in facie curia, that is in the face of the court. Contempt ex facie curia, that is contempt away from the face of the court. Now, what INEC is faced with is the likely charge of choosing, cherry-picking, being selective in terms of what order of court that it will obey. That is not acceptable. On March 3, and subsequently, I think on March 7, the Wednesday that followed March 3, the court ruled that INEC must allow the principal parties to the suit before the Presidential Election Party Petition Tribunal access to election materials, to which PDP, Labour Party, and also the candidate of the All Progressives Congress acting in self-defense. They are also to be allowed access to data in the back-end server. They are also to be allowed access to certified true copies, CTCs, of the data. Now, INEC got for itself a judgment allowing to reconfigure beavers. What Labour Party is saying is that as of this moment, INEC is obeying the ruling on the reconfiguration of the beavers. It is not listening to the court order in other respects. That's cherry picking. It's unacceptable. It is a violation of section 287 of the Constitution. However, the INEC chairman told the Labour Party lawyers yesterday, 60 of them, led by Levi Uzoku SAN, that, INEC will cooperate, INEC will do everything. But the other issue that the learned SAN, the learned Silk, pointed out was that election matters are sui generis. They are time-bound. Out of the 21 days available to the Labour Party and the other party, 10 days have already gone. INEC will claim that it is preparing to organize elections on March 18. When is it going to allow access and obey the court order? And it has not gone back to the court to tell the court that it has difficulties. So we face a very difficult constitutional, likely, let me put it like that, constitutional crisis. And INEC has to know that the burden upon it, despite the fact that it has the presumption of regularity, is a very serious one. Labour Party, in consequence, through Dr. Tanko, Yunusa Tanko, who was the last person that showed up on the video, has already said Labour Party will go to the streets and protest all the way to INEC headquarters offices nationwide. I don't think the matter should get to that. INEC should tell us what the truth is. If INEC has difficulties, let it go back to the court. It is not in a position to violate section 287. Now that President Buhari says anybody that violates the rule of law is on his own. Since 2015, he has no hand in it. And it has no powers given to it under the laws of the land to cherry pick which laws of the land it can respect as an institution.
But why are we all making bones and sweat about INEC violating the rule of law? INEC that couldn't follow its own regulations and guidelines that it wrote by itself, and now is violating the court order. It just shows that the country is lawless. This same INEC that people complained that was supposed to review presidential electoral results by the commission that didn't do anything, and you expect them not to cherry pick? Please, let's stop deceiving ourselves. It's not today we've been cherry picking. In fact, we've become more cherry than pickers. That's who we've become. It just shows the grand hypocrisy that happens in this country. The same INEC can run to the courts to reconfigure beavers, but can also ignore the court order. But you see, we forget history so much, and I think that's why we're having problems in this country. The fact that we think that it is today things went bad as regards the rule of law and judiciary, we forget. Sorry, I'm going to quote Fela again. People say I quote Fela too much. When Fela said judge they beg in the 80s, how a judge charged Fela, and we know what happened in that case. So let's not surprise ourselves. INEC doesn't respect the rule of law. It's as simple as that. Because like the INEC chairman claimed that we've got nothing to hide. If you have nothing to hide, by now they should be inspecting all the materials. It just shows to a large extent that the fidelity of those materials are already suspects. And it will take a lot of convincing for INEC to say otherwise. But I'm not surprised. An institution that couldn't abide by the own guidelines he did right. Will you think we abide by a court order? That's a big question. An institution that couldn't abide by its own guidelines, do you think we'll abide by a court order?